The sun rose over a small, quiet village where a humble farmer named Thomas lived in a tiny wooden house. His farm was small, his crops were few, and no matter how hard he worked, he barely had enough to feed himself and his wife, Eliza. One day, as Thomas walked through his dusty old barn, something unusual caught his eye. A shimmering golden light glowed from a pile of hay in the corner. His heart raced. What in the world? Slowly, he brushed aside the hay and gasped. There, sitting in a nest of golden straw, was a beautiful white goose. But this was no ordinary goose. Its feathers shimmered like sunlight, and its eyes sparkled with the glow of 1,000 tiny stars. As Thomas stared in awe, the goose suddenly stood up, revealing a single, perfect golden egg beneath her. His jaw dropped. Is this real? He picked up the heavy, shiny egg and ran inside. Eliza, Eliza, look what I found. His wife turned, wiping her hands on her apron. Thomas, what is it? She froze when she saw the golden egg gleaming in his hands. Their eyes met. They were poor farmers. They barely had enough to eat. And now, they had something worth more than anything they had ever owned. But they had no idea that this was just the beginning. The next morning, Thomas rushed to the barn, and to his astonishment, the goose had laid another golden egg. Day after day, the same miracle happened. With each golden egg, Thomas and Eliza's wealth grew. Their tiny home transformed into a beautiful cottage. Their simple clothes were replaced with fine garments, and their table was always filled with food. Soon, the villagers began to whisper, "How did Thomas become so rich?" some asked. Others speculated that he had discovered a secret treasure. Thomas and Eliza tried to keep their secret, but the weight of their newfound wealth made them uneasy. One evening, Thomas sat by the fire, staring at the golden eggs in the wooden chest. Why only one a day? He thought, what if I could have them all at once? His fingers tightened around the chest, and his eyes darkened with greed. Late that night, Thomas whispered his plan to Eliza. If we cut the goose open, we can take all the gold inside at once. Eliza gasped. Thomas, no. That goose is a blessing. We must be patient. But Thomas had already made up his mind. The next morning, the goose greeted Thomas with her usual soft cooing. She fluffed her shimmering feathers, ready to lay another golden egg. But Thomas didn't wait. With shaking hands and a greedy heart, he grabbed a sharp metal from the table. The goose tilted her head, sensing something was wrong. Then, a single flash of silver, a gasp, silence. The golden light that had once surrounded the magical goose vanished. Thomas dropped to his knees. There was no treasure inside. No pile of golden eggs waiting for him. Only feathers and silence. His hands trembled. His breath came in short gasps. What have I done? He whispered. But it was too late. The magic was gone forever. Days passed, then weeks. The chest of golden eggs they had collected grew lighter and lighter. With no new gold coming in, their riches slowly disappeared. The beautiful house they had rebuilt, sold. The fine clothes they had bought, pawned. The food that once filled their kitchen, gone. One evening, Thomas sat by the fireplace, just as he had the night his greed had taken over. But now, his hands were empty. His heart was heavier than ever. He turned to Eliza. I should have listened to you, he whispered. She looked at him sadly, but said nothing. Outside, the barn was empty. The golden light that had once glowed from within was no more. The goose had given them everything, but they had lost it all because they wanted too much. Moral of the story, patience and gratitude bring more success than greed. If you enjoyed this magical tale and learned an important lesson today, don't forget to hit the like button, share this story with your friends, and subscribe for more exciting and fun-filled adventures. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new story. See you in the next one.